Welcome back to MACNA 2021, Supporting an Equitable Trade. Tim Lyons is our scholarship co-coordinator this year. Thank you very much for being here, Tim.
Thanks for having me, Kevin, and welcome back to another wonderful virtual MACNA. I'm really pleased to announce our two scholarship awardees this year. Sarah Hutchins is a graduate student from the University of Florida, and Phoebe Churney is an undergraduate student from the Maine Maritime Academy. These guys have just totally blown the competition out of the water. They were phenomenal candidates, and we're extremely pleased to have them here with us, and even more pleased to have them with us in person next year in Milwaukee. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over first to Sarah Hutchins, our graduate scholarship recipient, who's going to tell you a little bit about her research and what they do at my alma mater, the University of Florida's Tropical Aquaculture Lab.
Okay, thanks, Tim. Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Hutchins. I'm a biologist and a master's student at the University of Florida's Tropical Aquaculture Lab. And the overall goal of my research is to improve the efficiencies of growing copepods to raise marine ornamental fish. So my recent projects have looked at improving the culture methods and protocols for raising copepods to make it easier for others to raise copepods. My current experiments have looked at reducing copepod escape responses using environmental stressors. And my next set of experiments will use these reduced escape responses and feed these copepods to larval fish with the hopes of improving larval survival and growth rates. So I'd like to thank the MASNA Student Scholarship Program, as well as their partners, Ecotech Marine, Two Little Fishes, and Coral View, for providing me the opportunity to expand my research and to promote sustainable aquaculture, and for creating some awesome aquarium products for my reef tank. This award means so much to me as a student, as a reef tank hobbyist, and as a scientist. So thank you so much.
So Sarah, what does the future for live feeds culturists look like?
I'd like to keep improving these culture methods, making it easier for others to raise copepods and some hardier species of copepods, making these culture methods a lot simpler and more affordable. And so in turn, we can raise some more difficult species of ornamental fish and invertebrates.
Well, Sarah, we really appreciate what you do. I mean, live feeds culture is a major bottleneck in sustainable aquaculture, and we're really pleased to have you here with us. Next, I'm going to hand it over to our undergraduate scholarship recipient, Phoebe Charney, from Maine Maritime Academy. Phoebe, can you tell us a little bit about what you do and what your interests are?
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Tim. So my name is Phoebe Churney, and I'm a student at Maine Maritime Academy studying marine biology and small vessel operations, which results in, upon graduation, a 200-ton U.S. Coast Guard's license. And this summer, I had the opportunity to study at Rosario Beach Marine Laboratory in Anacortes, Washington, where I acted as both a scientific diver in training as well as the lead aquarist for the lab this summer. This summer, I had the opportunity to study octopus, and at any given time, I was responsible for maintaining and feeding and doing behavior assessments of both of the octopus species we had this summer, which were Octopus rubescens, the red octopus, and Moose octopus leoderma, which is also commonly known as the smooth skin octopus, and which was an absolutely amazing opportunity. And I had the opportunity to also connect with the Seattle Aquarium as well as the Tacoma Point Defiance Zoo and Aquarium, where I got behind the scenes tours and got to experience what it's like to be an aquarist at the large scale, which has influenced potentially what I would like to do in the future. This upcoming spring semester, I will be participating in a senior research project, which is the equivalent of a capstone project for our ocean studies department, and where we get to conduct our own research and do a seminal paper and oral presentation. And I hope to be doing an ecological study of the spatial distribution and population density of the East Coast sand dollar, also known as E. parma, and assess the intertidal health and utilizing the scientific diving skills that I have gained in both my internship this past summer, as well as through the course I'm taking currently in fall 2021. I also hope to be able to utilize some of the aquarist skills that I gained by bringing some of the species into our seawater lab we have on campus. But I also wanted to thank the MASNA Scholarship Committee, as well as their sponsors, Coral View, Two Little Fishies, and Ecotech Marine, for making the scholarship possible.
So Phoebe, you kind of alluded to it in your speech, but you mentioned that you might be interested in pursuing a professional career in a major aquarium. Can you tell us a little bit more about how your internships have influenced your decision there?
Yes. So like I mentioned earlier, I did have the opportunity to visit a few of the local aquariums in Washington state. And originally I've always been very science focused and I just wanted to do research. But after taking care of so many organisms this summer and visiting the aquariums, I realized that the aquarium trade and as a whole, focusing on the conservation of the ocean's organisms is something I would really be interested in doing, especially at some of the smaller scale aquariums where they actually both actively participate in conservation research, as well as working as an aquarist and being able to interact with organisms every day.
Well, Phoebe, we're really glad to have you here at Virtual MACNA 2021, and we look forward to interfacing with you in Milwaukee in 2022. If folks here aren't familiar with the MASNA Student Scholarship Program, we're currently in our 13th year of existence. So we've been offering this scholarship for well over a decade now. And this year, in light of the coronavirus pandemic and potential increased financial hardship for students, we asked our sponsors to really step up their game and offer more funding for students, and they certainly did that. So in previous years, we've offered this scholarship at the $4,000 level per award. This year, we've managed to increase it to $7,000 a year with the support of our sponsors. So we're deeply appreciative to our sponsors. Thank you so much for supporting this program. It changes students' lives, and we're extremely grateful for it. So thank you.
Sarah, what does the next 3 to 5 years look like for you? What would you like to be doing with all these skills you're acquiring?
So I'd like to keep improving the research I'm currently working on. So refining copepod culture methods and trying to make it more feasible for others to culture copepods and more difficult live feed species. Like I also culture algae. So making those methods more easy and affordable. And this kind of newer copepod species I've been working with, Oethona carcerva, making that more readily accessible for others, and really working towards culturing new species of fish and invertebrates, using these very nutritious live feeds to promote sustainable aquaculture.
And what does that mean for potential new species of fish, pelagic fish specifically, with potential being aquaculture? Is that something that your research will help lead to?
Yeah, so we're currently working with a few species of fish, in particular the Pacific blue tang. So that's a species we have a good amount of brood stock of right now. So that will be the next step for my research, is taking these applied methods with the copepods and trying to settle another batch of blue tangs. And then, these methods can be applied to other similar fish. Like there's a lot of work being done with the yellow tangs right now. That's been definitely a hot topic for the aquarium trade right now. So, working with industry leaders, hobbyists, scientists, kind of like combining all of these different fields and working towards culturing different types of aquatic organisms.
And when you're done with your master's degree, what are you thinking about doing?
It's definitely tricky to talk about that one. So, because I'm a biologist at the University of Florida. Definitely to continue what I've been doing, teaching others how to grow live feeds and like ornamental fish and hopefully invertebrates. I definitely miss working with more invertebrates too. So
I was just thinking that essentially you're trying to raise dumb copepods, right? Like you don't want them to run away. You want them to be really nutritious, like fat and dumb.
So the tricky thing is they have such a high nutritional profile compared to like rotifers and artemia. But we think that their escape responses may be so fast that the fish can't physically capture them, especially these types of fish we're trying to raise are really small, underdeveloped when they are newly hatched. So they need a feed item that's easy to catch. And copepods, at least the species we're culturing, are not really slow right now. So I'm using these different environmental stressors, kind of doing these acute stressor trials to try and temporarily slow them down long enough for fish to catch them. So I worked at an oyster hatchery for about 4 years and then came to Florida and have been primarily doing live feeds, algae and copepods, raising marine ornamental fish. And I've learned so many skills about aquaculture in these years as a professional and now as a student. And I would just love to take everything I've learned and share that with industry leaders, as well as other researchers, and really improve the industry and help others raise these ornamental fish and invertebrates.
So Phoebe, you've told us that you can operate a 200-ton vessel on the open ocean, but we haven't heard a whole lot about your background in the aquarium hobby. Can you tell us how you got into it, what you've kept, what you're excited about?
Yeah, I would love to talk more about that. So I have been obsessed with the ocean since I was little. My parents can attest to that. And I have had so many fish, so many invertebrates at my house. And I'm very thankful that my parents were giving me the opportunities to practice my own aquarium hobby at home. I've had plenty of freshwater fish. I've had temperate tanks, tropical tanks, but some of my favorite critters and tanks that I've had were my brackish water tanks. And I've had a few figure 8 puffers throughout the years, as well as fiddler crabs. And I always thought those were the most fun tanks to take care of because I enjoy doing the water chemistry side of things and making sure that parameters were good and making sure that my fish were healthy. And I really enjoy having the aquarium hobby at home. And I've also dabbled in aquaponics, and because we have gardens at home, so I thought, why not aquaponics, do some inside. So I've always been very connected to having fish at home, and it's been really enjoyable throughout the years.
Phoebe, you're, I think, starting your 3rd year of a 5-year program. What does the next 2 summers and just after graduation look like for you?
So as part of my program, I have required co-ops, which include getting as much sea time as possible so that I can graduate with my 200-ton Coast Guard's license. So these next few summers, I hope to be on a research vessel or on a larger vessel in general to gain sea time. But ideally, I would like to combine being able to do some research as well as deckhand opportunities this upcoming summer and the summer before my 5th year begins.
Is there anything like the Florida Keys or in California or in like Oregon, Washington, that kind of interests you as far as New Mexico? New Mexico? No, I'm thinking coastal here, Tim. Outer Banks, like that is the kind of a hybrid. I'm on a boat, I get to do marine science stuff.
Yeah, I think being somewhere warm would be pretty cool. I can't lie. Living in Maine, it's cold all the time, water temperature wise. And then this past summer, it was also aggressively cold, actually colder than it is diving in Maine. But I absolutely loved it out there. It's like being in the tropics. It's like diving in the tropics, but in the cold. It's honestly pretty cool. But yeah, I really don't have much of a preference, but anything would be absolutely amazing. I've been trying to look for different things so far, different companies, just because ideally I'd want to, right? Because when you're on a boat, you get sea time regardless. But I would like to also be able to participate in some of the deckhand side of things as well as research, if that makes sense. But yeah, where I am does not matter.
Well, thank you both so much for joining us here today. It's my distinct pleasure to present you, Phoebe Churney, with the MASNA Undergraduate Student Scholarship. This is for maintaining a strong academic record and for continued contributions and demonstrated commitment to the marine aquarium hobby. Phoebe Churney, congratulations.
Thank you. And I look forward to being part of MACNA 2022 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and meeting my sponsors in person.
Thank you very much, Tim and Phoebe. It is now my distinct pleasure to award this 2021-2022 Graduate MASNA Student Scholarship Award to Sarah Hutchins. Sarah, congratulations.
Thank you so much. I have had the honor of attending MACNA 2017 in New Orleans, 2019, and 2020 online, and I'm really looking forward to attending next year in person, as well as connecting with everyone virtually this year. And I look forward to thanking all of our partners and scholarship in the scholarship in person.
Congratulations once again to Sarah and Phoebe. You can read more about them in our press release that we released just a few days ago. I'd like to thank the MASNA Scholarship Committee, the MASNA Board, and all of our sponsors for helping us put this program together. Tim put so much effort in behind the scenes. He's constantly working on it. I'm constantly pestering him about it. So thank you very much to Tim. If you're interested, or you know someone who might be interested in the MASNA Student Scholarship Program in the future, you can Google MASNA Scholarship or go to masna.org for more information. Congratulations once again to Sarah and Phoebe. They'll be at MACNA 2022 from September 9th to 11th in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and we hope to see you all there. If you have questions for Sarah or Phoebe or want to know more or get in contact with them, you can go to macna.org/questions, click on the scholarship, and let us know what your questions are.